Complacent, combative with uncomfortable posture. Construction mundane. Inconclusive and unbalanced. I need solutions for the assault on my brain. But with no fault. Remedies for integrity that I've sought. Tangled in webs, weaved from deceptions of my thoughts. Critical thinking, heavy expression. Losing direction, instant gratification. Inappropriate connections which I fought. Though clear and present dangers are always lurking, my mind's always working. Looking at myself as a stranger. I need a mental trainer for my thoughts.
Jams.
Once again, it's on. How you doing?
Back at it.
That's it.
So for this episode, it's being worldly minded, which it's such a great follow up to worldview, right? And they kind of go hand in hand, and we can really kind of elaborate on a lot of stuff that we were talking about before. But worldly minded, the first thing that comes to my head, being raised with a Christian worldview in a Christian environment, was you always hear, oh, that's secular, that's worldly. So initially that's kind of how I always saw that definition, but there's more to it than that, right? Worldly minded, really broken down outside of any sort of religious context, is really just an awareness of the world and the happenings of the world. And
for sure,
you made a really good point in our last segment about open-mindedness, and I think that's a great way to kind of guide that definition of worldly minded, right? Is an awareness of collectivism. It's like you can be locally minded, you can be regionally minded, nationally minded, but I see worldly minded as the big picture, the world as we know it, which is really our globe, our little snow globe, and everything that's happening inside of it. That's our world.
That's it.
And that's the brand, it's all over, everything is worldly minded, and that's the goal of what I'm going for with that brand, is just to help others, live by the bigger picture. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the bigger picture is just accepting other people's that there are things that are different, right? There are cultures that are different, that are important, that bring a lot to how the world functions.
Yeah.
I think and what's the historical mindset on that, right? When we look at even the things we believe in now, the things that we follow, Christmas, Easter. I mean, these have a significant part of our history, right?
Yeah.
So even though we grew up thinking that they meant one thing,
yeah,
they have so much to do with the world and how people were aware of maybe seasons, maybe when to be have children, when to congregate, when we were nomadic tribes instead of in one place, right. You know what I mean?
Right.
How we traded with other cultures to just get the things that we didn't have. I mean, all these things in broad is at some point, I tell people this all the time. No matter what our government says, no matter what the media says, no matter what Democrats, Republicans say about other places in the world and who our enemies are and who our allies are, to go to that part of the world, you have to make that phone call. Say, hey, I'm coming. So you have a counterpart in that part of the world, right? So so the big bad wolf still has to knock on the door before has to introduce himself. He's not gonna just sneak up on you, because at the end of the day, we all have to compromise and we all have to live with each other, right?
Yeah.
Look at what's going on in the world now. So the world is it's so adjusted to other parts of the world that we almost have to tell them what we're doing before we do it, right? There's even rules to that, right? There's rules of engagement, right? Before I bomb you, I kind of have to let you know, listen, get all your people out because I'm about to bomb you, you know? So there's rules. There's rules, and being worldly minded is almost, you have to understand that the world functions in unison. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not as
We're not so
segregated.
different.
We're not so
We're not so
different.
different.
We live with each other, and the system works. The natural order of things work.
Yep.
Because most people get up every day and do what they're supposed to do.
Just do what they need to do, just to feed themselves and get a roof over their heads.
And they have to live in unison with nature, with each other, with the seasons. You know what I mean? And this is how the world works.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, like you said, everywhere that I've traveled, talking to locals, you know, and talking to them about, you know, bitching about, oh, this is what's going on in America and this and that. And they, you know, they will always say, well, we deal with a lot of the same stuff over here too. We have issues of wages. We have issues of immigration. Like these are universal struggles. And it helps you when you come across people like, you know, you see the human in everybody, and you see that, you know, societal structures are not so different. Like you were saying.
They're not. We're all trying to do the right thing. Yeah. We're all trying to do right. You know, the world works. The system works for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, with when it comes to being worldly minded and aware of world happenings, it's crazy now with just technology.
Yes.
Like how much we have access to, you know, and this is part of worldview expansion, but just the media, having access to the news at all times, social media. We are more aware of the world, whether it's accurate information or misinformation, than we ever have been. And it's almost like an information overload.
Yeah, you have to filter through it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to filter through it. And, you know, I'm proud that my generation has the critical thinking. I know that's a word. That's a word nobody wants to use. It's such a scary word, critical thinking. But we grew up outside having to make decisions on a daily basis.
Yeah.
With no phones, with no technology.
Yeah, I know.
Just dealing with things as they come. So I think we can filter through misinformation. And I've noticed the people that in this day and age that actually are kind of falling for the misinformation are either younger or a lot older.
Not in the middle. One or the other.
Do you notice that? And you know, I don't want to toot my own horn. Well, my generation's horn, but really, kids that grew up in the 80s and 90s, we're able to filter through, you know. And I'm not saying that everybody from the 80s and 90s are liberals or Democrats or progression, right? Or progressive. But what I'm saying is that whatever you believe, you're fundamentally trying to do the right thing, and you're trying to find the right answers. Like most people are not getting up trying to do the most diabolical, anti-human things.
Yeah, their intentions are there. Yeah.
The intentions are correct. Now you might have to do something bad to get a good outcome, and that doesn't work. But you learn through life that that doesn't work either, right? I don't know if you believe in karma or you believe in yin and yang or balance or anything, but when you have good intentions and you want to do the right thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
having that view that most people are good, fundamentally good, is for me. Like there's nobody that I could say is evil, right? There's some evil people in this world. No,
Yeah.
no. I can say majority of the people are here on this planet trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's it.
there's much more good than bad. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the more people that you meet, no matter where it is, locally, abroad, at work, the more people that you meet, the more it becomes apparent that, yeah, I mean, people just they want to do good, and they want to help you out. Um, and that's that altruism that kind of, I think it's good for being open-minded.
Definitely.
There needs to be empathy. There needs to be, I think that's that awareness of collectivism, like we were talking about before, is we're all just getting up, running this rat race,
Yeah.
and everybody's doing it at all times of the day. While you're sleeping, somebody else is just trying to get by.
I'm not gonna say that there's not entities out there trying to suppress positive, progressive movements, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that benefit in the world staying the same. There's a lot of people that benefit in controlling information and how people feel about certain things, and just
Sure.
giving putting enough fear that people stay put and follow the line, right? I think I think it's not going to work. I think what's happening is they're trying to slow down the 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 natural order of things, right? We're going to progress. We have to as a species.
Yep, it's inevitable.
But a lot of people have so much invested in the way things are now. Like let's talk about oil, right? I mean, if we would have pushed solar and electricity 30, 40, 50 years ago, would Iran be holding the world, right now in captivity by just blocking the straits?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good example. They talk about being worldly minded. It's amazing how one situation going on somewhere affects us all.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I was just talking to a guy today who said diesel is over $5 right now. It's craziness. He's a truck driver.
But it shows how interconnected we are, though. And not even just in a commerce, but in just in everything. We are trapped in this little, spinning space rock and an endless oblivion. We have to figure it out.
Yeah. So they can slow it down and they could benefit from slowing it down. But I think they're only slowing it down until they can control it, until they find how to manipulate it, right? But the world is always moving forward. The world is moving forward. Always.
We're more connected than we ever have.
And there's people are moving it forward. Necessities in life, we only change when it's a necessity. That pandemic changed the world. It changed the world because we had no control of that. It changed the world because it was a necessity to change. This happens in nature. This happens with every organism. This happens with every entity on this planet. It shifts when it has to, not when it wants to. That's why when you're forced to change, when societies and governments say you have to change, you almost fight back. It's like instinctive. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You can't make me do that. But when you have no control over that change, you adapt or die.
Right. Exactly. You have to.
So the entities that are suppressing this positive change, they're losing steam, man. Because more people have access.
We're getting more educated.
Exactly. More people have access to how other people live. And it's okay. Yep. It's okay that there's a group of people that rather live in forest and mind their business. It's okay that there's people that pray 10 times a day. It's okay that there's people that want to save trees. It's okay. How people live, it's okay. And we accept that.
But with more awareness now than ever before, with even the most remote parts of the planet now getting internet and being connected with information,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we are seeing changes in the data of
Oh yeah.
those that are moving away from religion and outdated ideologies. Those are and just in the more science, we're more everything that our ancestors guessed about, we're finding more accuracy or accurate answers
Definitely.
to.
Definitely.
And it's making everybody more worldly minded. Like you said, we can get on a plane, and in a few hours we can be somewhere that would take gruesome days, weeks, you
Months.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, and we are more connected than we ever have, which naturally makes us more educated
Yeah.
and um, more open-minded. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really the best way
Look,
to put it.
there's places that we thought were still third world. And because of internet, because of phones, we're seeing that some of these places are more advanced than we ever thought, you
Right.
know? And that access is changing the world.
Yeah.
And you wonder why there's governments that are restricting that access. It's
Yeah.
because they don't want you to know how other people live, because that will
Yeah.
open your mindset, right? When
Yep.
I was having a conversation with somebody about the things that Obama did when he was president. And the argument was, oh, he didn't do a lot because he was blocked from doing a lot. But him being president alone changed so many people's views on the world. It
Yeah.
fundamentally changed. But this country never thought they'd have a black man as a president.
Yeah.
That alone, him having one hand tied behind his back, doesn't mean anything. That's the natural function of a two-party systems, right? But him just being on that platform,
Yeah.
it changed a lot. It changed a lot of things. Just like Donald Trump being on his platform today changed a lot of things. This is how the
Yeah.
world looks at Americans now.
Yeah.
There are people that are assimilating to that view of Donald Trump, because now they're looking at I guess that's how people in power act. I guess
Yeah.
that's how they behave. So you can see it in society now. You can see there's people that think being cold, being disrespectful, being
Mhm.
arrogant is how you
Mhm.
become successful, because of just that perspective, just
Yeah.
seeing that, right? So just
Yeah.
seeing something can just change how you look at life. And we always hope that good outweighs bad, but
Yeah.
there are people that are thriving off just seeing disturbing things, and there's people that are thriving on seeing beautiful things, and we
Well,
just
and
hope
then
that works out.
when you use that as an
Humanity.
example, yeah, I mean, but when you're talking about certain leaders over different, societies and nations, you're, it's funny because, you take Trump for example, he'll go down in history as one of the most ignorant leaders of any human species,
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's interesting is you take somebody like that, and there's a massive lack of worldly minded openness. Someone like that might think that they're worldly minded because they're aware of the world, but what it all depends on what you're fed.
Exactly.
It depends on what media outlets are feeding your view of the world. Like you were saying before, how we view other people can be so skewed based upon what we choose to ingest.
Exactly.
And somebody like that, a leader like that, that's that ignorant and that oblivious to, actual, the real world. Um, it just shows you what was fed into that brain for so long,
Definitely.
and it's ignorance that gets a leader like that into power, and the kind of worldly minded that we're that we're talking about right now is in the trenches, really with the
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
um, putting culture first, putting that collectivism first, um, and when you get down to the raw, like human nature side of it, it's almost impossible to become a person like that that's that ignorant and that
Yeah.
authoritarian.
Well, and that's my point. majority of this country did not vote for this man.
Yeah.
And that gives me hope. There's a majority here that is dealing with the outcome of the minority, right?
Yeah.
That electoral
Dealing with the electoral system. Yeah.
Voted this man in, right?
Yeah.
Not the majority, right? And then the outcome of that is more people are suffering because of what few wanted.
Yeah. Right.
But that flaw is exposed now.
Yeah.
That flaw is exposed, and hopefully it changes, because one thing we know is people forget so quick. We forget that he did this 8 years ago, or 6 years ago. I mean, this is the same man who handled the pandemic terribly. And you see how quick people forget, right?
Yeah.
So we have to keep reminding ourselves that once we move forward, we can't let them push us back. And seeing other civilizations and seeing other places progress. You could talk about different governments in Europe. They're not all saints. The French government does horrible things around the world. So does the just in general. But you don't see the people fighting against their government because they take care of their people, right? Yeah. So what they do around the world is ignored because the people over there are well taken care of. So you can almost forgive, because the people are have a living wage.
Yeah,
they're able to travel. They're able to educate their children. They're able to
they're able to expand their worldview, exactly. And they're able to, be more accurate minded. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, no government is perfect, right?
Right.
But you almost can look the other way when, they're actually taking care of you. Right now in this country, that's not happening. And the world sees that. The world is seeing that maybe America is not the best place.
Right. But the hope is that the data is still trending and progressive, though. Like overall,
I do believe most people are progressive.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have to be. Like if even the most conservative, people that call things woke and say, "Oh, I'm not progressive," well, you're driving a car instead of a horse-drawn carriage. You're there's everything in our daily lives revolves around being progressive and adapting and evolving.
I can agree and get along with the conservative. Like I have people that I know that are conservative, and there's reasons why they're conservatives. Maybe they're Christian, maybe a certain topics is why they're conservative, but they all want to do better. They all want to progress. They all want a living wage. They want health care. They want to feed their kids. They want to do things, they're not all, want the world to stay the same. I mean, the most radical places in the world are conservative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's not many. So most of the world is moving forward. And I do believe it's because of we're able to see how other places function now. We're able to see past what people tell us, right? And we have more access to day-to-day things that they're doing. I was on TikTok or Instagram, one of those things, and literally just watching somebody cooking in another country, for hours. People are just watching this person cooking, people buying food from them, and it was just interesting. I saw a person cleaning off an egg, right? He was just picking an egg up. Not a boiled egg. This is like just, this is just a raw egg. But there's like 30,000 people watching this person do this. And I'm thinking, this must be some kind of gratification just watching this. I couldn't do it. I'm just saying, it
just watching the basic things from our species.
We're all doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
And it's okay. And the most progressive minds out there are interested in the world. they're traveling to the world, they're eating food from around the world, they're meeting people from around the world, and that's that idea of open-mindedness that you gotta have it.
Yeah.
If you don't have open-mindedness, not only is it resisting change, but it's also resisting growth, just in yourself too. And
well, I'm a firm believer is when you give the people, when you take the weight of the world off the people's shoulders, they can enjoy life.
Sure.
And that's what we want in this country. That's what we see in other countries. That's what we want all over the world. Just imagine a world where, AI is actually helping you live a better life instead of taking your job. You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all hope that's what the future is holding, right?
Yeah. Utilizing that progressive, that inevitable progression for betterment.
Exactly. And I think once that happens, there's going to be so many beautiful things on this planet, and beyond. And all this other things will be so obsolete because the ignorance, once we get that out the way, we're going to move so far into the future. Who knows? Interstellar even, who knows?
It's happening. It's just happening very, very slowly. Slowly. It is. I mean, it has to. Like you said, it's inevitable to adapt and evolve. But it's just one mind at a time, right? The best thing that we can do is just with everybody that we interact with is, plant seeds and be empathetic and meet people with where they're at, but also challenge. And that's the whole idea of my brand is just to challenge and to endorse open-mindedness, endorse that awareness of the bigger picture that's going on and how much that bigger picture intertwines us all on a daily basis.
And I love that. You keep pushing that brand because that's what's going to open people's minds, and that's where you have to be at. We're not, you don't have to force anybody to change. You just give them the opportunity to see the things, and you start with your own. You start with your children, you start with the people around you, and then and then it spreads. And I'm not talking about preaching, I'm talking about teaching. There's a difference. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
There's a difference.
Just conveying information.
Exposure to things that can't be denied. Right now everything is upside down. People are denying the truth. It's right in their face, and they'll give you 10 reasons why that's not true.
Yeah. And the truth is a moving target too.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, man. And this is what I was telling you about just certain age groups being able to decipher, what happens when AI gets so good at this that you're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake.
It's already happening.
It's happening. I mean, I hope I haven't been
this
fooled.
This podcast could be completely AI generated.
AI, right? Yeah. Am I really speaking to you? And and like I said, hopefully it's not that good yet, but it's definitely getting there. You know what I mean? I have hope for the future, and if more people have an open mind, and like you said, worldly minded. I love that brand, worldly minded. Then we're headed into great places, man.
I'd like to think so.
I want to encourage people to travel. I want to encourage people to go see the world.
To talk about these topics.
Definitely.
Yep. Engage with each other and challenge each other, and also look inward.
Yeah.
And how can we evolve, together, and grow. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's what are we doing if we're not challenging ourselves and growing and becoming better humans?
Definitely. I totally.
And then on the next episode, we're going to talk about human evolution.
Can't wait.
Not just from all the different human species, They're not just their evolution, but just the cognitive evolution too.
Well,
That's right up your alley.
One thing I like to think, and this is my biggest philosophy, is that we've evolved out of necessity,
right.
But we want to get to the point where we evolve out of, what we want, right?
Yeah.
When we get to that point, the possibilities are endless.
The clouds will clear.
Right.
No, that's a good, and I love that, man. That's a good quote to end on. So yeah, next segment we're gonna dive into, our human journey.
Absolutely, can't wait.
So, all right, man, it's good.
All right.
I am only my mind's keeper. As my mind's getting weaker, these thoughts they're getting deeper. I need a seeker, a brain sweeper. There seems to be an unparticipating assailant, fluctuating and pulsating venture in my thoughts. I felt this happening, slow but steady, and he wasn't ready. What was the deadly medley that I let be, so I could be let free from all this uncertainty and anxiety in my thoughts? What could be the reason for this continuous, dubious, baffling, head-scratching, non-compliant factors casting away the depths of consciousness in my thoughts? I'm not sure, and figuring this out is no easy task. I can't hide from this, but my mind's moving fast. I feel hopelessness, but I'm hoping this stays just between us. The right and left portions of my unwavering, scathing, trenched, unstable, hence fabled, and tense hemisphere, where I hold these thoughts.